touch on that. Why did you name it Ollin Farms?
Well, Ollin is an Aztec name and means like constant motion, like nature, like life, like music. So any ecosystem is an Ollin. So that's what it is. Not the same today, tomorrow, yesterday. An ant is born, or a little plant is coming out, or the weather is changing. So that's where the name comes from.
The constant.
It's a constant motion, a constant changing, a constant movement.
Which is what we're in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I also want to touch a little bit on what Mark said. So I think the purpose of humans in this planet was not taking advance and abuse. And I think that's what we have been doing for a long time. So it is time for us to give back. And that's when we need to start regenerating everything.
Yeah.
It has been abused for years and years. And we really need to start thinking about the future. If not, we're going to be lost. And it's just giving back, and there's a lot of mistakes on the way and still going on every day. So I think it's a responsibility for us like an adults to teach the kids that we need to start taking action yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be too late.
Right. Well, and I know you do a lot of educational programs, so maybe talk a little bit about your involvement with that, with teaching kids and bringing them to the farm and what all that looks like.
Well, one of the missions of the farm is we need to pass the baton, and we were thinking, who are the best for these? The kids.
Yep.
And well, the kids come, they are in Mother Nature, they work together, they learn, and they learn by doing it. Yes. It's not like I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna teach you what's going on. So they come, they are free, they observe, they do things, they plant. They do a lot of activities here, and little by little, they're getting it.
Yep.
They're getting it. It's just fascinating how the kids are just amazed just by listening and looking at them, and I don't know, getting a bell pepper from the plant and just biting it, or just making a hole, or moving a rock and it's full of little balls. Yeah. I mean, it could be a lot of things that they are exposed here, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and it creates a really cool connection.
It creates a connection. It creates a hope.
Right.
We always talk about you as a kid. You need to be the voice of Mother Nature.
Right.
And each kid choose. Okay, I'm gonna talk in the name of the bees. I'm gonna talk in the name of the water and the air and the trees. So it becomes like, I always ask them, the kids, how do you want your future to be?
Right.
And they just start telling you, you know, I want a future full of trees, full of clean water, clean air, no pesticides, no GMOs. I mean, these kids are just the future. Yeah. They know. And you think they're just there sitting, but they're listening, they're observing, and kids are amazing.
Yeah. And they pick up on it so fast. It's kind of like kids learning a language really easily when they're young. Yes. It's like they just know.
And the environment really plays into that. Yes. Like we've designed this curriculum around like teaching farm as ecosystem. So really when the kids are here, what they're learning is ecosystem science, how all the things in the farm are connected.
Yeah. And they see it.
They see it, and we have them rotating. And we do like school field trips and have a group that are out here just for a couple hours instead of like a whole week-long class. We have it set up where they get to interact with a lot of different things real quick in those couple hours, and everything can tie together. So a lot of different people set up at different stations doing hands-on activities, or when people are taking, after we harvest a broccoli plant, for instance, you're taking all the old broccoli plants out of the field, and what happens to those? They go to the sheep, and so the kids are over there kind of feeding the sheep and seeing how those nutrients are cycling over. And then we show them the micro-greenhouse and how after we cut the trays, we're putting all the empty soil from the trays inside the chicken yard, and how they're scrapping through and getting all the roots and spreading the biochar and the peat moss everywhere, and how we're making that into the compost. And then have them planting something on the farm where we're actually doing like a sheet mulching with cardboard that was a waste product from our tomatoes, and compost that was a waste product from our egg operation, and wood chips that are a waste product from old trees on the farm, and how we can turn waste products into new soil. I think that's the real key to make regenerative agriculture sustainable in the long term, is we have to find the only economic way it can be. The reason everyone's not doing it is it's extra work and it's extra cost. But if you can have a diversified farm, and you can have viable operations that are producing waste streams that can go to other parts of the farm and become soil, that's when it really starts clicking. Be able to talk to that with like even middle school kids that come out here for a field trip, and then be like, okay, you see how that works on the farm? Now think about your community, like your city. Like how are we diverting our waste? How are we moving things around the city? Because there's a lot that kids can learn that isn't just farm related,
Right.
that can teach you about life. And so it's beautiful what Ken has set up out here and what we've been able to do with the classes, with the working with the local school districts to get kids out on the farm. I mean, that's what's going to change the agriculture paradigm. Like we always say, you can't shift a paradigm from with people who are already ingrained in it. Like,
Right.
we're not going to just convince everybody, my generation or older, that this is what we should be doing. It's going to happen. The only way we're going to shift the paradigm of our ag system and our healthcare system is start with the youth and let them create their own future. I have a lot more faith in those kids than
Right.
I do with politicians, with so-called business leaders.
Yep.
Sometimes it's
Trying
like
to change systems that are already operating
People
at that
heating
level.
their seats and doing anything.
Right, right, yeah. Well, and I think it's that switch over too of eating healthier food and realizing how that expands even financially, because you're not spending money on healthcare
right.
situations. So it's like it all kind of comes back. It's really
And you know, these little comments from parents, even listening to the kids, you know, like this mom is like, oh, every year he started liking and one more vegetable or two more vegetables. We say, I don't know how you do it, but 2 years ago it was green beans just out of the plant, and it's like, oh my God, he never eats vegetables. And the year after is like, now he's into spinach.
Yeah.
And it's just the change in the attitude of the kids,
Yeah.
because they planted, they harvest, they
Yes.
are in touch of it with
Yeah.
it. And recently we have a huge event here, and these two kids were sitting on the hayride, and they feed the chickens, they feed the sheep, they went out for a walk, and the little brother just looked at his sister and he's like, oh, guess what? I want to be a farmer when I grow up. And the little girl turns and look at his brother, is like, me too, I want to be a farmer, you know. And those are the moments,
love it.
those are the moments when you are like, yes,
Yeah.
we're doing the correct thing, we're
Yeah.
changing, we are influencing,
Yes.
we are hoping for a better world through the kids.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Mhm.